Good evening, and welcome to the Stress Red Podcast on Picks Friday. I am your host, the co-host, Dionysi. I want to start off the episode with memoriam today, as we are no longer an anti-Raiders or Chargers podcast, as the last coach from my dungeon has fallen fall to the recent firings of this year. We would like to play a moment of silence for Brandon Staley. Okay, what the fuck are we talking about? He deserved any goddamn way. Let's start the fucking show.
Welcome back to the Shred the Spread podcast. I'm your host, Jared. This is our pick episode for our contest. You will get our 5 best bets of the week for week 15. You heard Dino. He went in depth, gave our very, very, very brief moment of silence for those two coaches. We have 5 picks to make. We must move on. We must find another team to hate on. But we can't do that until I bring on my co-host, my right-hand man, my dude, the Grim Reaper. No, what's going on, man? Tell me how happy you're feeling.
What's going on, bro? I feel relieved. I feel like I just took a mean, mad shit after getting off of work, bro. That's how relieved I feel right now. I got 2 sorry, shitty-ass coaches out of my fucking dungeon and out on the street. Well, I never like to say any coaches on the street. I apologize. But they're fucking going in the fuck out of there, all right? So we have no hate going on right now. I feel the love. I feel the joy. And I feel very spirited to get this Picks Friday going, knowing that I don't have to get sold by those 2 coaches ever again.
Yes, I'm happy for you. I'm happy for all the listeners who have been with us since day one of the podcast. You guys know that we hated those teams. And not necessarily because of the teams that they were, but because of the coaches that represented them. But we have to get into our 5 picks. We have our 5 picks, and you best believe they are ugly. You know, this is not the Shred the Spread podcast without one of them ugly dogs. And I tell you what, we may have 2 of them for you. So stick around. We've got our 5 picks coming up. And on top of that, we're not going to do a Survivor pick this week. I'm not alive in any. Survivor has been ridiculously crazy. Shit, I don't even remember who we took last week. Do you remember who we took last week, Donnell? The Packers? Yeah, the Packers,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And they lost. So, you know, the hell with our Survivor picks. Touchdown, Tommy DeVito. He's him, I guess. But we've got our 5 picks to make.
All right, here we go. So in all likelihood, Deshaun Jackson's going to at least get a return. Deshaun Jackson gets a block. Are you kidding? Way downtown. Oh, what a shot from Curry. That is a disgusting act by Randy Moss.
Dino, why don't you start us off with our first pick of the week?
The very first pick of the week. Let's go down to Pittsburgh and let's take the Steelers plus 2.5. Why? I'll tell you why. This team, no matter what you say, your fans are butts, Mitchell Trubisky or no Mitchell Trubisky, Kenny Pickett, whoever the quarterback is, it don't matter. This defense has always been solidified and been the staple of this organization and the team this year. They're going against probably one of the luckiest teams in the NFL as the Indianapolis Colts, and you know how we feel about one of those lucky teams. Somehow they just find ways to make points, to score points and capitalize on mistakes. But I can tell you what, that little block punt bullshit, missed extra point bullshit that happened last week against the Titans, yeah, that won't happen against the Steelers this week. This is a well-coached team. This is a team that is notorious for staying and finishing over 500. They're at 7-6 right now. So history is only going to show they're going to handle business right now. But all that being said, we get the Indianapolis is at home, but I feel like that bodes well for Mitchell Trubisky. You know, the weather is not a factor. You're in a dome. It's in a controlled environment. You're able to just focus on the game, focus on the game plan, and focus on getting the ball out. The one biggest thing I'm kind of keying on is Jaylen Warren. Jaylen Warren has not been in the end zone the last couple of weeks that I've been betting. So I really got Jaylen Warren this week to get a touchdown as part of the props as well. But no, I feel like this Steelers team comes back, bounces back, stays in the thick of that wild card race, and keeps things interesting as they always do.
Yeah, I agree with Donnell. This Steelers team has obviously been over 500 the last few years, and they're coming off of 2 bad losses. So I definitely see the Steelers in a bounce back week. Mike Tomlin, obviously, he's not coaching for his job, but this team still has some playoff chances. You know, that division kind of stalled out a little bit. A lot of injuries in that division, and the Steelers kind of have an opportunity to maybe sneak into that wild card spot because the AFC is up for grabs, and everybody knows that. So let's move on to our second pick of the week. We have the Panthers at home versus the Falcons plus 3.5. Boy, oh boy, I know. We can't stay away. They're like the Jets. Luckily, we don't have the Jets this week. Spoiler alert. So you don't have a double headache. But this is is just a good spot, man. If you go through and look at the Falcons games, most of I think every single spread year to date has been under 4 and the highest up to 3.5. So this Falcons team, these are coin flip field goal games. They just don't seem to blow teams out. I think they won by like 9 or 7 or whatever it was against the Saints. But realistically, we bet the Panthers versus the Saints last week for that very reason. The Saints are just not a good red zone team. But the Falcons, you can see it right as day, as last week was a prime example. They go and score a touchdown and Baker Mayfield drives the field, scores a touchdown with no problem. The Falcons get a little bit of magic. They go down and they just don't convert. They're one of those teams where they just rely a lot of luck and not much skill. Like Donnell and I say all the time, we might be an anti-Desmond Ridder podcast at this point. We're just not fans of him. He's not a great quarterback. He is a tremendous athlete and he makes plays, and he's got Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier, so their running game is pretty solidified. But realistically, Desmond Ridder is not going to fit those passes in those tight windows and convert on third down with ease. Drake London and Kyle Pitts have kind of come into their own this year, but they're still underwhelming statistically. I really like the Panthers in this spot. I mean, they really have nothing to lose, and the Falcons still having aspirations to potentially have a shot at that division. They got to pretty much win out, and the Panthers have nothing to lose, and those are the scariest teams to play against at the end of the year, especially when the Panthers don't have their own pick. So them losing does nothing besides make them look even worse. And Bryce Young, I know he looks kind of broken, but he's got to start figuring it out. And this team obviously plays better at home. I think they get it done this week. I really think the Panthers pull this game out, Dino.
Oh boy, you can be a politician. I hear you over there. But nah, here's what I gotta say about that is everything you said was absolutely factual and correct. I agree with everything you said. And I want y'all to know too, just because 2 coaches left my dungeon is empty for more heads. And Arthur Smith I'm coming for your ass. I already got on you earlier this year, man. Trust me. I got my eye on you. If you lose this game right here, oh, best believe I got that key. I got that warden key to open that gate right on review, so you can walk right on into that dungeon.
Them shackles are still attached to the wall.
Yes, sir. So look, you better win this week. But I don't see that. I actually think the Panthers win outright. This is just one of those games, those tough division games, that you can just feel it a little bit. Like the Falcons have lost steam, they lost momentum, another gut punch, and what would be another knockout gut punch right here than a Falcons debacle against the Panthers, who literally have nothing else to lose.
Yeah, come on now. Who wants to see the Falcons in the playoffs? Let's go Bryce Young and the Panthers.
Ew.
And plus, we have to stick to our guns. Divisional dogs at home. That's the spots we like to take. Moving on to the Tennessee Titans -2.5 at home. Will Levis going in there and not giving up is the motto of the Titans, regardless of the score, regardless of the time left. Even though it's never been done in history with a team up by 2 touchdowns with less than 3 minutes left, 357-0. No team has ever blown a lead that fast and lost the game outright. But the Dolphins did that. They made history on the wrong side of the book. The Tennessee Titans at home -2.5 against the Texans. It looks like CJ Stroud just got pronounced out for this game. This line shot up to 3.5 a lot at your standard books, but in a contest, obviously that line does stay the same. With that being said, Donnell and I have to play this spot. We know that Mike Vrabel at home as a dog is where we really like to make our money, but this just is a good spot. The Titans are just playing with some swagger. They don't give up, and Will Levis has this chemistry with DeAndre Hopkins, and he makes big plays. If you look at the spray chart, Will Levis's expected play average, so his yards expected on his passes, is 3rd, and that is behind Brock Purdy and Tua Tagovailoa. That's it. So we're going to get a quarterback who's on pace with one of the best receivers of all time, and DeAndre Hopkins. The guy's got incredible hands, runs incredible routes. No better guy to get on a great page with than DeAndre Hopkins. I love the Titans at home. What am I missing, Dino?
Well, you ain't missing much, but I'm gonna add on to what you said here. The one way you're going to expose this Tennessee Titans defense is passing the ball throughout the air and going deep. Now, granted, they played very, very well last week. Let's not get it twisted. They played very, very well, kept themselves in the game, and eventually won the game. But we got right now another backup quarterback. I mean, that's been the theme of this week. Jesus God. A backup quarterback in Davis Mills with what probably his best weapon right now is Nico Collins. And nothing against Nico Collins, but we've seen this combo before. It was not pretty. And Brandon Cooks was at least there. He is not there no more. Tank Dell is out. CJ Stroud is out. And CJ Stroud is the only quarterback. Think about it, guys. When CJ Stroud came in from the draft, bro, we said we're going to like this Texas team. They're going to be a nice little team. We did not expect this coming out. He has completely exceeded expectations, throwing for 300 passing yards every damn game. I just don't see that coming from Davis Mills in this offense, man. And as far as my knowledge, they don't have no running game. So yards is going to be very hard to come by against this Tennessee team. And like I said, this Tennessee team is rolling. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they win by 6 or 7, honestly.
Yeah, and obviously you said Nico Collins, and he's still questionable, so he's banged up. Woo! He's not even 100%. Yeah, but we have to remember Davis Mills is the reason why the Texans got CJ Stroud. He was that bad that they had an opportunity to get the second pick, which they potentially could have had the first, but they decided to win the last game of the season. Lovie Smith was their angel in disguise, winning that game, because chances are they may have taken Bryce Young with the first pick. And my gosh, could we have a different story about the Texans this year? But yeah, dude, the Titans at home facing a backup quarterback, and the win total for the Texans was like 3.5. Imagine what it would have been, and that's with CJ Stroud. Imagine what it would have been with Davis Mills. We would have been betting the under 2.5 like the damn Cardinals. Yeah, Titans at home, -2.5 for our third pick. Dino, tell the listeners what our fourth pick of the contest is this week.
The fourth pick of our contest this week is the Montez Sweat-led Bears. No, I'm not playing. It's the Chicago Bears +3.5 here, and again, going to Cleveland to play the Browns. And I guess the reason why I like it is, I mean, trust me, the Bears is a dog with a hook, man. I love it at any time, man. They find ways to stay within games lately. This defense has been playing phenomenal. 19 points per game since Montez Sweat came over in the trade, which is phenomenal, you know? And when that defense is playing well like that, and you give Justin Fields good field position, and he's already a great runner as it is, but now he's starting to actually maneuver in the pocket well enough to open lanes for him to throw passes. Now I think he's finally starting to get it and get to that flow since that injury. DJ Moore is nothing short of a great big weapon to use against Cleveland. Cleveland is banged up in every place you can imagine. Safety, banged up. D-line, banged up. Offensive tackle, guard, center, banged up. Quarterback, going for the season. Running back, going for the season. Jesus, man. We could be talking about a whole different Cleveland Browns team right now, but they're banged up. This is the way the cookie crumbles sometimes in NFL, and I love, like I said, you give me the 3 in the hook with the Bears against probably a limited offense in the Browns. Because let's be honest, Joe Cool is what everybody likes to call him. Joe Flacco. Come on, man, he's really not that guy. We knew this.
Yeah, the Browns sustained a little bit of luck last week. They Trevor Lawrence interceptions. They Jaguars stalling out, not converting on fourth down. The things that they normally do, and we know the Browns defense is great, but they're getting consistently banged up. They are missing several players, and they just lost another offensive lineman. Willis is out for the season, and DeJuan Jones, I believe, the rookie offensive tackle, he's also out for this week. So they're just getting banged up everywhere. And I know that the Browns get pressure on the quarterback, but we have to realize that we have Justin Fields back there, and he does avoid a lot of pressure. His legs are magic. So we've been seeing he's getting outside the pocket and making people miss. As long as he uses his legs as an offensive weapon this game, I think we'll be okay. The Bears are going to have a shot to win this game. I would not be surprised if they win outright. I just think this is a really good spot, and we have to realize that the Bears are kind of playing for their future. The head coach is coaching for his job, and Justin Fields, they're kind of battling to figure out whether or not he's going to be their starting quarterback going forward. So, there's a lot of aspects to the end of the season for the Bears. So I think this is going to be a team that surprisingly plays very hard, even though they are not necessarily having a chance to make the playoffs. I like the Bears in this spot, even though they're on the road. +3.5 will take the points. Now, the caboose of this week is the anchor. This is the one that we need, and it's the Buffalo Bills -2.5 at home. This is probably where the podcast listeners are going to part the ship, and that is because they are facing the Cowboys, and the Cowboys have been rolling. Dak Prescott is tied for the favorite as MVP with Brock Purdy, and rightfully so. The Cowboys have not been able to run, and that's the Achilles heel of this Bills defense. They struggle to stop the run. They want you to throw the ball. They want you to throw the ball, because when they start stacking the box and worrying about the run, that's when their secondary is a little bit lackluster. So as long as the Cowboys don't go out here and run for 120 yards, I think we're going to have a shot. Now, we know Josh Allen is going to take some risks. He might turn the ball over, but that's because he is expected to make big plays and put this team on his back, as he's done all year. I mentioned in last episode, I kind of went on a very quick rant how I took Josh Allen to win MVP. I took the Bills to win the division, but this is the first game of that journey. This step has to be completed and completed correctly, because if the Bills don't come out here and handle business, if they come out here and win a shitty game, those odds for Josh Allen to win MVP are kind of going to go out the window. But if they can win this game, it's most likely going to come down to the end of the season when they play the Dolphins for the division, because the Dolphins have a pretty difficult schedule. The Bills kind of have a cakewalk the next few weeks. I think they play like the Patriots and someone else, maybe the Jets. I'm not 100% sure, but they have winnable games for the rest of the season until the end of the year. But that's for the future. But just this week specifically, does it not feel like everybody is out on the Bills? Does it not?
No, it does.
It feels like the Cowboys are at the peak. You're buying high. And granted, they're an underdog, but we have to remember this Bills team at home is where they play the best. They like the conditions. Dak Prescott likes the good weather. He likes slinging the rock in a dome. And if he has to go on the road with some pretty shitty conditions, maybe it's cold, maybe there's some wind, and he's so used to throwing the ball, that's where you kind of have some alterations on his passes. I think the Bills defense is going to cause problems. They're going to get some pressure. And as long as Dak Prescott is forced to throw the ball a game and they can't run, I give the Bills a great shot this week.
Yes, indeed. And I'm right there with you. Like I said, I'm on the board of the caboose, baby. Just keep rolling. I mean, let's be honest, man. Like, that Bills defense is this Bills defense, even though they're banged up, they're very opportunistic. They really play well. They held Patrick Mahomes in them to 17 points, which is a great performance that week. And like you said, Josh Allen at home in that cold weather and Dak's going to be outside in that cold weather. I get a little cold feet, no pun intended, when it comes to that. Josh Allen, to me, will dominate this Dallas defense, and that's my whole honest opinion. Like I said before, guys, I do congratulate Bland. Bland, historically, interception, touchdown, returns, I get that. I kind of feel the same way about him with Trayvon Diggs. Very opportunistic, great hands, great ball instincts.
But they gamble too much.
But they gamble entirely too much. Thank you, my boy. You finished my sentence for me. Entirely too much. And you saw what DK Metcalf that 1 week when he gave up 3 touchdowns. So we're going to, like I said, I really feel like this is a spot for Stephon Diggs to get back going too. Because let's be honest, they play sides in Dallas. They don't travel. So you best believe Stephon Diggs is going to line us outside against Bland, and we're going to see what Bland is really made of. I feel like they get exposed again this week. I feel like they give a lot of points. I honestly, personally like the over, and I feel like Bills going to win this shootout. Actually, maybe not even much of a shootout. I think Dak might tone it down a little bit, probably put up 20 points, but I got Buffalo put up 30.
All right. I mean, I like it. That's just music to my ears. So those are our 5 picks. We have the Steelers plus 2.5, Panthers plus 3.5, Titans minus 2.5, Bears plus 3.5, and Bills minus 2.5. Wow. All of our spreads are under basically a field goal. That's nuts. Playing both sides. We've got 2 favorites and 3 dogs, an ugly dog. Just trust us. This Panthers, I know it's ugly. And you know what? If you don't want to bet it, I completely understand. But just know that we play these ugly divisional dogs at homes. And I know we back bad quarterbacks. We've got 1, 2, 3 backup quarterbacks this week. But hey, or 2. I'm sorry, Jesus Christ. Bryce Young is so bad. I just considered him a backup quarterback.
Hey, yo.
2 backup quarterbacks and a rookie. Dude, doesn't get any better than this. But these have been our 5 picks of the week. Donnell, do you have anything for the listeners before we get out of here?
The same message every week. Tune in live, guys. Follow us at Shred the Spread on, I say Twitter, on X. Jeez, I keep saying Twitter, on X. And definitely, like I said, follow us for any updates, man. Injuries play a big part of where our picks go by, and it's very important to keep to stay in tune with that reasoning. Therefore, guys, like I said, follow us, shout us out. Like I said, send us DMs, anything we need to work on, any questions you guys got for us, let us know. And like I said, I'm trying to be very more engaging in the social media as well. So if you want to follow at Dyneezy on X as well, so that'd be at DYNEEZY, Neezy. And like I said, ask me some questions if you guys have some.
He said it best. Donnell, we'll put you on the spot. Bold prediction of the week.
Bold prediction of the week. Woo! Okay.
Quick.
All right.
Gut.
Bills win by 2 touchdowns.
Ooh, I got Panthers outright. This has been the Shred the Spread podcast. He said it best. Follow us on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, at Shred the Spread _. You can also follow us on TikTok at Shred the Spread for the week 15 best bets. I'm your host, Jared. He's Donnell. For awesome producer Tyler. This has been another episode of the STS podcast. Until next week, we'll see you.
Peace.